So I got myself one of those Switch gizmos. You know, the iPad made by the Mario people. And I gotta say, I'm loving my time with it so far. But the thing I'm sure that goes through the mind of most people playing on this console is, I wish this game was coming out on the Switch. So with that being the case, here are 5 games in my opinion that deserve a release on the Switch. The game that seems to be on every console that you can think of. This has always been my favourite game in the series, followed closely by 2. This title completely nails the tone and setting, and all these years later, I'm still compelled to jump back into the zombie-filled mansion. I think that now that the HD version has been released on current gen consoles, why not bring it over to the Switch? Resident Evil 1 has already proven itself to work on a handheld with Deadly Silence on the DS, so bringing a remade version that was crafted specifically for a Nintendo console in the first place back to a Nintendo console makes complete sense in my opinion. The revamped controls of the HD version will accommodate a wider audience this time around and would work wonders in portable mode. The only problem I can see with this is the save system. Being limited to a save point and only being able to save with an ink ribbon would make it harder to justify shorter play sessions in handheld mode, but there is an easy fix for this. Implement a quick save system like in some classic RPGs. This means that you can save the game, but that save will only last until the next time that you boot the game up, and then the save will just get deleted, meaning you won't have to make sure that you have enough ink ribbons or whether you can find a save point in time. You'll be able to make a quick save, turn off the console, and carry on when you can. The Resident Evil series has already made its way onto the Switch with Revelations 1 and 2, but I want the true Resident Evil experience on the go. To some people this might be an odd choice, but I love the first Metal Gear Solid game. But people often have a problem with Twin Snakes due to some of the over-the-top cutscenes that was added to it. I love the craziness that the remake added. It made it feel as though the game was more self-aware and could have fun with itself. Silly things like Snake turning to you and breaking the 4th wall, telling you to put the controller on the floor after Psycho Mantis tells you to, or when Snake kicks the missile out of the air is just the kind of nuttiness that I love. But at the same time as being a bit more goofy, it took the original game to a place where the original couldn't go. Now we're able to see the emotions on the characters' faces and actually see the performance from them, rather than all the emotions being contained to the emotes on the codec screens. The scene where Sniper Wolf shoots the shit out of Meryl this time around holds a lot more weight than the boxy nodding heads of the original. On top of all the cinematic changes, we got all the improvements from the new at the time Metal Gear Solid 2, adding all the mechanics that was missing from the original. First person aiming, hanging from rails, hiding bodies makes the experience feel a lot more involving this time around. Like there's actual stakes to your actions rather than it being, how do I get from A to B and move on? You have consequences now if you play the game lazily. Whether we get some sort of virtual console release or a full HD remaster, I want this game on my Switch. To me, this is a no-brainer. The Switch has the potential to be the new RPG powerhouse. Putting this title in the lineup would be such a good move for Nintendo. Atlus are already making Shin Megami Tensei 4 as a Switch exclusive, so why not pepper the time in between with some of their other big titles? Persona 5, being a PlayStation exclusive, has still managed to be a massive success in a world seemingly void of classic JRPGs. This game came along and swept people up in droves, with the game as of the 21st of October 2017 had sold 1.11 million copies worldwide. For a genre that's gone out of fashion in a series as niche as Persona, those are some crazy numbers, and with the way that the Switch is selling, they could potentially double that figure, and opening a door to more developers that want to create classic turn-based RPGs, and give them the confidence to push their product and make it the way that they wanted to make it, rather than having to make changes to appease the publishers, scared that it won't bring in the numbers. This even opens up the possibility to add a trade function like in Pokemon to swap personas with other players you meet, or an online and local battle mode, making it a social game that suits the teenager in school theme by interacting with real people over a common interest. Persona 4 was my favourite game to play on the Vita. The level-based way that you play the Persona games makes it a perfect match for a handheld console. For people that have watched my videos in the past, you'll know how much I love the Yakuza series. This gives me a slight problem regarding this list. I can't pick any one game from this series to go on the console. So for this, I'm just going to say I want the entire series to come to the Switch. Japan already got a remaster of 1 and 2 for the Wii U that never made it to the West, so we need some love for the series on a Nintendo console. These games would be a perfect fit on the Switch. The mission-based gameplay is perfect for long periods of play as well as short bursts, not to mention the sheer amount of content packed into these titles. Even if we just got the mini-games and side missions alone, it'd still be good enough to eat away at every spare minute I have during the day. And with it being handheld, you can take it on the bus, on a plane, or you can even have it whilst you're taking a shit. The series as of late has been picking up major steam with the release of Yakuza 0 and Kiwami on PS4. And the upcoming Yakuza 6 and Kiwami 2 have made even more buzz around the series. Putting the games on the Switch would be such a good move, not only for us in the West, but over in Japan as well, because the fan base over there is huge, as well as the fan base for Nintendo. It's a match made in heaven in my opinion. Now this is a series that I hold close to my heart, the black sheep of the Metal Gear franchise. Acid started life on a handheld as a launch title to the PSP and spawned a sequel on the same device. But people couldn't get their head around the turn-based card mechanic and wanted a pure Metal Gear title, which they eventually got with Portable Ops and Peace Walker. The Acid games were set in an alternate timeline from the main series, allowing them to take liberties with the characters and backstories, making for a pretty wild adventure, nothing like what's been seen in the main entries to the series. I've been waiting for a smidge of information regarding a third game, but I never got the announcement, even though this is kind of a pointless want because most people didn't give a toss about the game when it was first released. And if people don't care about it, you know for sure that Konami don't give a shit about it. They didn't even get MGS5 right. But this game I think could benefit from a few added bells and whistles to bring it up to date. Adding touchscreen support and boosting the game's resolution is pretty much all it needs. The graphics on the game still hold up. Emulating the game on PC in 1080p makes the game look great. And since most of the dialogue and cutscenes use comic style images and text boxes, it would be such an easy port to make, and the Switch would be the best choice of console for a re-release. So there's 5 games that I'd like to see on the Switch. Not the usual picks you'll see from most people, but I'm not like most people I suppose. If you like the list, give the video a like, remember to subscribe if you're not already, join the Discord chat, and I'll see you in the next video.